whether it's affiliate marketing, events, running media, running the shop down the road, data is critical. Another one of our kind of core values is data. So we can now understand, or starting to understand, a customer 365 days of the year, what they're reading, emails they're opening, what they do on site, what meetings they're requesting, what meetings didn't turn up, what they said they wanted to do at the show to what they didn't do at the show. And that data opens up an amazing opportunity to improve experience, improve our product, but also tons of new products, loads of new ways that we can monetize. And I think it's the same for the affiliate sector. The more that we can understand what is happening on our sites, whether it's tracking, conversion data, retention, it can only help improve performance. It can only help us as a business justify our role within the sector. I think often, less so now, but often affiliate had a bit of a bad rap that it wasn't delivering high quality or ROI. But actually, as we start to move into this new business intelligence world, we actually can stand here and say, look, this is the ROI we deliver.
I'm John Wright, and you're listening to Affiliate BI, the business intelligence and affiliate marketing podcast brought to you by StatStrong.
Welcome to the Affiliate BI podcast. Today we're chatting with Alex Pratt, who's the managing director for Clarion Events. And I've known Alex for a long time, seeing him at events like Affiliate Summit and IGB Affiliate, and going to be seeing him soon in Barcelona. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. And actually, I was just thinking before that, Cap Euro.
Cap Euro.
And then even before that, the Casino Affiliate Conference.
Yeah, those were pretty good starting events. And yeah, the branding I thought was, smart change to kind of go, okay, let's take the word casino out of it and just call it gaming. And you made life easier for people like us when we travel, where, it's like, where are you going? Oh, it's an affiliate conference. What's the name of the conference? IGB Affiliate. Okay. No questions asked.
Yeah, everything's okay.
You say casino, and they're like, I need to check your bags for money. So I want to ask you, what do you see changing in the affiliate space? Like, what is happening? I ask you because I think you've got the perfect view of the entire industry. What affiliate segments getting better? What's shrinking? Are there less affiliates, but is the business getting bigger? What are you seeing?
Yeah, that's a big question. Look, I think it's definitely getting bigger, at least from my perspective. The events aren't getting smaller, and that attendee base is continuing to grow. I think for me, that's really interesting, because back in sort of Cap Euro days and originally when IGB affiliates started to come out, we started to see regulation and permission to market on things like Facebook and Google and all the various places you could suddenly open up the market, particularly for operators. I stupidly, or at the time intelligently, forecasted affiliate will be no more, these events will die off. And from that very moment on, it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I guess for me, the role of affiliate is more than just a way to acquire players beyond the traditional means of player acquisition. It also adds brand, adds recognition. I think as humans, we don't want to just go straight to the person that advertises the most on TV. We want to know what people think. We want to look at data. We want recommendations, all those different things. So I think you've still got the kind of continued, whether it's community or content-based affiliates. I think we're seeing a lot more interesting stuff around using technology and tools to provide a service almost, but then monetize off the back of it. I think something interesting I've seen, not so much in gaming, but more in the retail space, is around brand to brand, which I think really moves affiliate more towards this kind of partnership marketing. I think there was one last year where Spotify did a deal with Ticketmaster, where if you're listening to, I don't know, making up Guns N' Roses, actually, well, Guns N' Roses are playing at this venue here, why not buy a ticket? And actually, you've both got the same database, you've both got the same interest in that data, so why not monetize it together? So I think the really interesting stuff around that brand to brand area. Obviously, streaming has got a lot bigger, particularly in gaming. I think that influencer area, some people class it as affiliate, some people don't. I do, because I think it's a performance-based, affiliate-based, influencer-based marketing. But I think what's interesting on that area is the trend towards more genuine and transparent individuals, which I think you get from streaming as well. People want to believe that you use that cream or you play on that poker site. I think other interesting areas I really like the people that are doing streaming in premise. I've seen a few bits of that where they're kind of creating an event for it. And actually that adds a lot of value to a land-based casino beyond just players. It's all about branding. It's actually creating an entertainment event within the premise itself, which I think is really important. We are, after all, in the entertainment industry. So no, I'm not seeing it shrink at all. I think ever since I got in this sector, people have told me there's no more space. There's no way you can grow. There's nothing to launch. It's done, whether it's the UK or an emerging market. And every year I'm surprised by a new affiliate that really breaks ground. And I think back in a few years ago is when you started to see the affiliates that were using things like Twitter, didn't even have a website. These guys were like 18 years old. They're probably in their late 20s now, but making huge amounts of money, not directing anyone to a website because they saw media in a different way. And I think we continue to see people leveraging new channels, new platforms, new ways to work with players. I mean, go back, God knows how many years. I remember meeting a affiliate that was handing CDs outside his favorite football club every week, and that paid for his season ticket and gave them some money. So it will always change. And I think that comes with technology. It comes with youth, comes with thinking slightly outside the box. Long-winded answer, but yeah, getting bigger.
Oh, that was brilliant. I want to touch upon that a bit further because you mentioned influencers being a growing segment. Now, do you think influencers kind of mess up the space a little bit from an M&A point of view? I mean, let's pretend this. Alex Pratt is going to become a streamer. So you're building your brand. That's more of a personal brand. You can still associate it with like a website, but it's going to be very difficult to say, hey, I want to acquire Alex Pratt. It's not saying it's impossible, but you kind of make it a little different when you're saying, hey, I'm a person. And if people are buying from people, and this is kind
Yeah.
of like a changing space, is this going to cause problems for companies like Better Collective where they actually want to get more into this influencer space? And it's like, you either have to have these big contracts to say, okay, you're stuck with us for 1 to 2 years, but you're not quite getting revenue share. And like, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that buying that individual property with a buying hat on would be hugely risky, and you'd have to price that in. I think I'd be almost taking a step above that and actually look at, is there, or if I was an influencer, I'd building a network of many individuals. So you can de-risk it slightly. So things like where you look at, rather than buying a single podcast, you're buying a network of podcasts, but also that gives you more leverage around monetization and when you're having those conversations. But I think M&A is interesting in the affiliate segment. I think where you've got a brand and a established scaled media business, it's easy to price. It's easy to, I mean, easy is in inverted commas, easy to buy, and then relatively easy to integrate. What I found, certainly, I've seen a lot of mistakes being made by some of the acquirers maybe a few years ago, is where they're buying these founder-led businesses. And actually, I think they took for granted the amount of passion and effort that went in beyond the technology and the users, and actually trying to replicate that in a corporate environment and then actually scale it is really difficult. And I think some brands have done that well, some have fallen. I think M&A is difficult unless it's really a really traditional media brand or a piece of technology.
Yeah. I have a theory that I think the best way to try to get equity in an influencer is through an affiliate network. Because you
Yeah.
imagine your traditional affiliate network, it's kind of like you're getting 20% cut of the business. So if you kind of have this partnership, it's almost like, I wouldn't call it what you said earlier about brand to brand, but it's the closest thing. I think
Yeah.
it's the next best gateway of saying, if I can't quite buy people as influencers, maybe I can own 20% of their business and say, look, we'll take care of the tech stack. We'll do all
Yeah.
the stuff you don't want to do, which is manage payments, tracking links, all that stuff. And it's like, you do what you do best, which is, entertain people and, create an audience.
Exactly. And then it then goes back to, you can actually build a network of those influencers. And actually, when you go to brand X and talk to the reach that you have, you're able to provide a much bigger service and ideally get a lot more money, and as well as reduce your costs because you're at scale.
Yeah. And there's actually one of those networks I know called, I think it's streamia.io. So they actually target specifically, kind of like more streamers. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that's right into the name.
No, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, we've already talked about affiliate networks. Do you see affiliate networks getting even bigger? I mean, The one that I think grabs a lot of attention in our space is Rate Tech. They're public.
Yeah.
I think last year they generated 32 million euro in revenue. I think it's the key component that's like really driving their business. And we've seen Catena Media say they're going to launch Marketplace. I think it was days ago, you guys just published a big article with Game Lounge where they're launching Kicker. Seems like everyone wants in. Like, are you seeing this as the next interesting product that's also B2B?
Yeah, look, I'm a wait and see, because if you'd spoken to me last year and even probably a few months ago, I'd say, and having run Affiliate Summit for a few years as well, so seeing the retail space where it's totally dominated by the networks. And I've always seen in gaming, I was like, it's never going to happen. Partly because the kind of units with the cost of acquisition, the amount we're spending versus when they're a florist or a small retailer is just a lot higher. So those relationships are really important. I think it's a really relationship based business. So those bigger affiliates want to deal with those casinos directly. Um, for those small to medium affiliates, a network offers massive advantages. For those non-gaming affiliates that actually just have a segment of their audience they want to offer softer gaming, I think it has a role. But look, we're seeing this trend. If I was going to bet, I'd say it won't win out. I think it will probably appeal to those small to medium guys, but it doesn't feel like a sector that wants to be consolidated into networks. And I'm not sure the brands themselves are so aggressive, so innovative, that I'm not sure they would want to lose that control either. And it is because sorry, I keep going on, but when we talk to some of those, even tier one operators, that traffic generated by affiliates, not only is it high, but it's high quality, and it makes or breaks some of them. And so they can't afford to risk losing those relationships. So I think it has advantages. I'm not sure it'll become the dominant force, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. I want to pivot a little bit, but still stay on the same topic of affiliate networks. Now, obviously in the retail space, like there's the A-Wings, the share sales, and some of these giants, they make so much money, but they're using legacy technology. And there's other ones like impact.com that are trying to, they're a bit more newer, I think, and building more interesting features. Do you think there's a space where someone could say, okay, not only am I doing a network, and what's a network? One affiliate manager, one payment, you get a better deal, but maybe they're going to add a couple more things saying, if I'm getting 20% of your business, I have an incentive to help you with your SEO, or at least stay on top of it. Maybe you could have like an in-house SEO and say, look, if you're part of our network, these are other things that we do. Do you think there's an opportunity here to say, look, we can do all these extra bespoke services on top of it to say, look, we're the next level above the network. There's going to be a new version of it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And actually, I think they're probably doing it, but just haven't named it. Some of the best affiliate managers I've seen out there will be working side by side with their affiliates, talking to them about their SEO. You could have done this. Bet365, I used to be so impressed, and they probably still do it now. I haven't seen, but they used to come to, probably not as paper based anymore, probably digital with an iPad, but they used to come to the event with these folders lined up in their stand with profiles on the affiliates. And it wouldn't be just for their sake. It would be like, this is how you've done. This is where we see you can optimize. This is where we see, and loads of analysis of how they could be doing better things with their site, which will not only benefit the affiliate and Bet365, but actually all the other partners. And it was a really interesting holistic view that also really generates that loyalty. And I think things like those key affiliate managers that think that way, or brands like 365 that then create the loyalty, and means that they continue to win awards every day. But yeah, I think it probably just needs to be named, and then someone can pretend they're the first ones, but actually they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I've been calling this like affiliate network 2.0 or even 3.0, where the services are going to be built in. I mean, heck, M&A advisory could actually be a part of it.
But even buying, if they're using, I don't know, a software that helps drive conversion, actually buying that, the network buying that, and actually either passing it on for free or passing on it. There's lots of things they can add value.
Yeah. I like the one thing I think that will actually become a staple within these networks around the corner is going to be ad tech. Like imagine you've got the logos, the compliance of the offers, the offers in all the different languages. I mean, I think affiliates are kind of wanting the service where they don't have to maintain this database, and this solves problems on both sides of the fence. Like,
But even, I don't know if you've seen, if you remember, with Ryan, I think it's
yes,
in his new technology, which is this kind of AI chatbot, I guess, at its basic level. It's better than, I can't remember what it's called, Boostbox, I think. But plugging that into the networks or into operators themselves, where an affiliate can ask all the questions they normally have with affiliate manager, but also ask it to generate content. Like, I want an article on Man United versus Arsenal this Saturday. I want you to emphasize these keywords. I want to blah, 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 blah.
right,
And it'll, obviously you then need to do your own work there, but actually that adds huge value. And if you're thinking about who to work with, it's hopefully will kind of move you towards that brand over another one.
right. So I want to talk about Clarion, where, in my opinion, they've been a champion of responsible gambling. And do you think everyone in iGaming should care about this segment?
Yeah, I mean, without doubt, that I think Clarion, and I say Clarion, but I'd say, look, it all starts with Eva Back and Sadie Walters, who were die-hard supporters and drivers within Clarion years ago on responsible gaming when it wasn't a cool thing. No one really needed to do it. They started with a small conference on the Millbank, probably 30 people. When I came back in to run Clarion Gaming in 2020, there was three things I kind of found that were, I guess, the core pain points of the industry, and they've never really changed. One is around innovation, one's around responsible gambling, and one's around compliance and regulation, particularly in emerging markets. And actually, we took those as our pillars for our business, things that we stand by. So part of that was actually responsible gaming zone that we had, the CPZ in ICE. Why is it at the back? Like, if this is the most important thing of our industry, and actually ICE is the window, the shopping window for government, regulators, legislators, let's show them what we're doing. So we move it to the front. We've invested fortunes in there. We still raise lots of money for charity. So I think it's moved from being something that you kind of ticked box or nice to have, much like sustainability is moving through that journey, to something that is essential. Like, you can't exist as a business without acknowledging responsible gaming. If you're not, then to be honest, you're probably not welcome at our events and in the industry, certainly now and definitely in the long term. And I guess that's why we renamed it this year from the consumer protection zone to the sustainable gambling zone. And that's because it's about creating sustainability. Like, we, at our core, we're an industry of entertainment. We create and deliver entertainment for our players. And actually, it's about creating a sustainable environment for that entertainment. So actually, it's not about taking all the money on day one or having someone with a problem gambling on your site. It's actually creating this sustainable, protected environment. I think that's where the industry's going. It's where we're really focusing. And I think we'll see it more and more at our events. I will be surprised if we don't have an entire hall dedicated to responsible gaming within the next few years. There's just so much work going. There's so much technology.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And maybe we won't touch upon non-GameStop sites.
The evil people.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and it's changing.
I mean, it makes me sick, but
Yeah. You mentioned like responsible gambling, and you said innovation. When you said innovation's a key thing that you want to focus on with Clarion, that's kind of implying, like, do you think there's a lot of lack of innovation? I mean, one of the questions I wrote out for you was to say that I think because iGaming has had so much money, it's actually decreased the pressure for people to be innovative, because they're like, look, you can launch an affiliate site. Like, you've seen these affiliates launch them, no budget, and become like, making millions per month. And same thing on the operator side. You could launch a white label on a pretty minimal budget and say, look, you just add affiliates, click, click, click. Here we are.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's two things. One is the sector is growing. It's a fast moving sector. It's still, I mean, the first bet was 1996. So actually it's relatively, we're getting older now, but there's still emerging markets, still emerging technology. There's still so many players that aren't playing yet. So it's growing really fast. And actually, even from an event perspective, we could, and I say this internally all the time, we could sit here and outperform every event across the Clarion portfolio, fundamentally doing nothing, just living off our brand. So actually, it's really important for me as a business to also innovate. And actually, what can we do differently? How do we outperform the growth that's already in the market? So we need to be looking at double-digit growth. I think in the sector, it does, if you don't need to, why would you? I think there is some of that attitude. I do think we don't necessarily have the best regulatory environments for innovation. If you're going to truly innovate, is it really worth putting all that money in, knowing that actually it might not get approved, it might need changes, it's going to take time. So there's not as much of an appetite. And actually, interestingly, talking to the UAE, they're very much about creating a jurisdiction that helps support and encourage innovation. So he's Kevin, who's CEO of GCGOA, was saying the other day that he's sick, and not a direct quote, but he's sick of hearing this industry, they're saying there's no innovation. Well, actually, he wants to see that innovation, whether it's in land-based, whether it's in the architecture, the environment that you play, online, all those things. So I think we will start to see that change. Interestingly, ICE, part of that focus on innovation, for the last 12 months, we've worked with quite a big technology association to try and bring them on the journey that actually gaming isn't this scary environment. Like maybe actually it is about it is about entertainment. You're probably working with these customers already, but don't realize and look at the opportunities. So at ICE, we've actually got a load of kind of VIP tech and investor tours going around to meet some of the best suppliers, some of the best innovators. So people at Oracle, I think Amazon Web Services, Vodafone, I can't remember all but lots of new companies from outside sector to have a look and go, actually, look, have a look at what we do, have a look at our products. What could you do to help this sector innovate? What would you do differently? So I think it's a difficult environment. We're all making lots of money, but that doesn't mean that it's still the bugbear of the sector if you talk to anyone. So I think that I'll keep going on, but I think that ICE and IGV Live are really focusing on that kind of pitch concepts, that startup. Every event has it. Again, it's one of those things that people keep sticking at the back of the roof. Well, if it's so important, why is it at the back in this lonely place where actually that corner is your future of your industry? So we need to move that and put it up on a pedestal. And so you'll see ICE actually it's in the center of the room. This is only year 1, year 2, year 3 is where I think you'll be shocked at the investment and size and the support we will get from, I hope, from associations, government, cities in order to drive that innovation and the investment we get there. And you can see it, Mobile World Congress, that's what inspired me. They have a part there they called 4YFN, 4 years from now, 600 exhibitors in there, all startups. And it's buzzy, it's amazing. And I'd say 30-40% of those could be working in gaming. Now, a lot of this is MarTech, Rage Tech, blah, blah, blah. And actually it's like, well, one, we as custodians of the sector that sit independently actually should be doing the work to bring those guys in. So I don't think it's dead yet, but it's still, there needs to be more, but it's just not the pressure.
Yeah. So you must have a really good view into the next projects that you think are going to be exciting. So I want to ask, what do you see coming through the door that excites you?
Apart from everything we're doing, so there's loads of good stuff there. Now, we've done a lot, not just on our live, but on our digital replatforming, new tech stack, trying to drive transparent ROI. I think the things that are interesting me, I know everyone goes to it because it's just an easy subject, is around what AI, the impact of AI. And at the moment, it's super low level. I think you're not seeing huge change. And I think that's in most sectors because we've got to understand it. It's got to become more cost efficient. But I think the interesting thing to me is around the role AI can play in sustainable gambling and responsible gambling and how we can use that to help make our industry better, help make the environment more entertaining, more safer, which can only help then grow the industry, grow the business. So I think we'll see some of that tech ICE in next week. But I think that's only just touching the surface. I think what will come in the future will be incredibly exciting.
So we talked about,
actually that's somewhere where people will fund and innovate and will get to.
I think so. I think part of the AI, I don't want to call it problem, but I think the ways some things can be solved is by just being a data company. Like by providing more data services, you can say, well, then you can apply AI on it. And then that can go in 100 different directions. So I think this is both in the affiliate space and the operator and the B2B services, all of it.
And we sit on so much data. so much. And I mean, half the problem is that no one shares it. So, but that's a whole nother
Yeah,
project.
that could change. So we talked a little bit about M&A, and I want to ask, what do you see in the investor side of the business? Like, is this an easy time to raise money, or is it difficult, like what everyone else is experiencing in the SaaS world? Is there, I think there's a lot of money to be deployed into startups, but what are you seeing on your side?
Yeah, no, certainly seeing more interest, certainly seeing more people from outside of the sector, which I think is always important. There's always a lot of flow of money from inside, people that have exited, people that were here in the old days and then set up their own kind of investment vehicles, which is great. They know the sector, they know the opportunity, they've done it before. But actually seeing external money come in, I think is more interesting, both from an online and land-based perspective. So I think people are recognizing as the sector regulates more and more, as people understand that this is a technology-driven business, that is not CD, that it is about entertainment, that it is about responsible gaming, that there's more money coming into it. And it's a sector that is relatively young and actually is got so much opportunity in it. So I think, look, it's never easy. Raising money is never easy, but I think I'd say there's more opportunity, I think, in the last couple of years than I've seen before. And we're seeing more investors register. So that's kind of one of my data points, is the interest that come to ICE that will register to attend those pitch sessions. We're seeing a bigger variety, more people and a bigger variety coming in. So yeah, I think really interesting time to be.
And I guess that would be a mix of everything, like venture capital, angel investors, you name it.
Yeah. And then right up to the kind of institutional investors that have the big wallets. They carry their suitcase behind them.
So would you say that, there's, an opportunity for the industry to double itself?
Double is a massive word.
Like,
I think there's a huge opportunity for big, big growth in this sector. Um, Certainly from our perspective, we, over the next few years, we're forecasting high growth, in some places doubling, probably not in a year, but in the next few years. And I think that we can only double if our customers are also doubling. And I think a lot of that will come from efficiencies. I think some of it will come from consolidation, but I think more so is around these emerging markets, around new technology, around regulation. I think there's still so much opportunity, and we're only really touching on it. Part of that you have to do as an individual business. Part of it we actually have to do as an industry. We've got a story to tell and we have to be proud of it. And I think we need to come out. And that part of moving to Spain was actually, when we had conversations with all those various cities, was actually, this is it. We're not coming and we're not going to hide inside a hall. We want to be part of your city. We're proud of our sector. We are technology. We have jobs. We have innovation. And I think that's the narrative we have to keep pushing at that, and then underline with providing entertainment. That's what we're doing. We're looking to take people's entertainment time. So our competitors aren't necessarily always each other.
yeah,
So I think it's
almost.
the sector we've got a reputation thing to work on.
Yeah, it's like on par with like a Mobile World Congress. Like
Yeah.
that's like an institutional conference in Barcelona. That's everything for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I remember when I first started doing events, the people that steal or don't steal, because to be honest, they don't have the data, the people that send emails saying, buy these lists, buy these lists. And I was like, one day I'm going to have an event where they like sell my lists, because you're
Exactly.
big enough for them to come up to you. Now I got there. Now it's like, I want to be big enough to have protests outside that tell us that we're disrupting their city and putting in Santo, not Sigma Malta style, sort of somewhere in between. I will regret saying that. I probably don't want to stop a city. But look, ICES, it must be in the top 5, top 10 of B2B events in Europe now. One of the most important. And actually, I don't see why that can't come into the sort of top 3 based on the size of our sector. And as we start to move into other areas, whether it's hospitality and hospitality tech and all the bits that come around gaming.
And so, what do you see of the future of affiliate marketing as it intersects with business intelligence?
Like, it's, uh, I think when you look, for me, whether it's affiliate marketing, events, running media, running the shop down the road, data is critical. Another one of our kind of core values is data. there's more. For me, people will often say to me, "Oh, but there isn't any. I can't find them." Like, there's always a data source. There is, and actually, and I could talk from our perspective, as technology and the price of the technologies come down, we've been able to seek and find so many opportunities. So we can now understand, or starting to understand, a customer 365 days of the year, what they're reading, emails they're opening, what they do on site, what meetings they're requesting, what meetings didn't turn up, what they said they wanted to do at the show to what they didn't do at the show. And that data opens up an amazing opportunity to improve experience, improve our product, but also tons of new products, loads of new ways that we can monetize. And I think it's the same for the affiliate sector. The more that we can understand what is happening on our sites, whether it's tracking, conversion data, retention, it can only help improve performance. It can only help us as a business justify our role within the sector. I think often, less so now, but often affiliate had a bit of a bad rap that it wasn't delivering high quality or ROI. But actually, as we start to move into this new business intelligence world, we actually can stand here and say, look, this is the ROI we deliver. But beyond just player acquisition, this is how we're enhancing your brand. This is how we've improved your retention of your players. Right now, we're not being rewarded for that, but actually, let's start to talk about what that looks like. And I think the same on the reverse. Those operators already have a lot of that data, but they're getting more and more. And actually, the key is to have a more open and transparent relationship. So actually, by opening their data up, the affiliate can only be better. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. What services can they offer? Actually, if you can tell the affiliate, this is what's happening with these users and how they play or what they're doing, like how could it, or what you did here, or whatever it is, it can only create a better experience for everyone, including the players, which I guess is ultimately the end game. So no, I think it's really exciting, but exciting across the board, which means you're in the right place, John.
I was literally going to say that as a comment. Thank you for the justification. I appreciate it.
No, I think what you're doing is so interesting, because when my brain starts to wander, I start to think about all the data points that you've got, and actually, probably half the problem is you have so many that it's where to start. But even just 2 or 3 data points within your product would be a product in itself that would help with whether it's benchmarking or just really interesting.
Yeah, the one thing that we've been zeroing in on of late is with dynamic variables where you have click ID. Now, what's happening? Like we at the very beginning of this conversation, we talked about what is working or what is changing in affiliate marketing. And I think the SEO affiliate sites are kind of disappearing. It's like you need a product. And what's a product? A product is the ability to capture the user's email, some first party data. So when you have first party data, you can actually control the exact click ID. So now when you get the actual reports coming back from the operator, you can actually get that data fed back. So you actually, you know the deposit activity, the revenue activity of that player. And then the data tools that are just starting to emerge on the operator space are player engagement reports. Like what games did they play? The deposit method. So this data is now going to be fed back. I think this is going to be exciting space for affiliates to say, not only do you have like the ability to send newsletters and go, what is the activity rate? But to actually know what newsletters are working and marry that back with first party data. I think first party data is going to be the big game
100%.
changer.
My 3-year strategy for Clarion Gaming is all about first party. It's all like, everything is about that, owning that data, and it allows us to do so much more.
Yeah. Alex, thank you so much for doing this. How can people get a hold of you if you want them to get a hold of you?
Loads of different ways. Well, I've actually given up 90% of social media these days. I do have an account on Facebook because that's where everyone used to hang out. I now and again I go in there when I need to get a cleaner or someone to mend a roof, and I see everyone's still there. But no, LinkedIn, always find me on there. I can't remember what it is, probably Alex.Pratt or something. But on email as well, alex.pratt@clarionevents.com. Or find me at an event, find me anywhere. I'm all open book.
Awesome. We'll include those links in the show notes more for the events themselves. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Affiliate BI podcast. I'd like to take this time to ask for a small favor to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us expand our reach to rank higher in podcast directories and reach more listeners.